We need to talk about the classic mode for Black Ops 7 Zombies, as Treyarch has just revealed some new details about the curse mode, where parts of it the community is seeing as a W and the other is seeing as an L. And I think we need to have a very level-headed conversation about our expectations for what this curse mode is going to be, because by the sounds of what we've just learned, it doesn't sound like it's going to be the classic mode that we all want it to be. In this video, I'm also going to lay out some of my criticism and feedback to Treyarch that hopefully you guys agree with, and if not, please disagree and let me know in the comments below. But I'm hoping that it can change some of the stigma around some of the modern systems that just make them feel a bit more zombified. And there are two big topics to talk about relating to this cursed mode here in the video, and we're going to start off with the first and the most controversial, where Treyarch did confirm that there is not going to be a relic in cursed mode that is going to disable the armor system within Black Ops 7 Zombies. Now, straight away, this has been a massive talking point for the community and one of the biggest L's to have come from this curse mode, because up till now the expectation has been that it is for all intents and purposes a classic mode for Black Ops 7 Zombies. We have the return of the starting pistol, the classic point system, and the removal of the minimap as the base fundamental layers that make up the cursed experience as the vanilla experience. But then if you want to make it more classic, then there are relics that we're going to have to discover in game that once unlocked will be additional modifiers that will make the game harder. In return for making the game harder, there will be some additional rewards that you'll be able to unlock and use within Cursed. And the example that Treyarch recently gave in the dev talk was that you'll be able to unlock golden armor, something that we had on the Tomb, that will be available as a permanent unlock as a wall buy in every map for you to use. And they stress that this is going to be very necessary to surviving Cursed, because it's going to be a much more difficult gameplay experience where you will need armor. They also emphasize the new Vulture Raid Major Augment, which will allow you to replate automatically without having to hold down that plating button. But then in the eyes of the community follow up to say that, yeah, there is no way to disable the armor plating system within the cursed mode. And a lot of people see this as a massive L, because this was their answer to a more classic Zombies experience. There's a lot of elements of classic Zombies here, vanilla, probably more in the modifiers, but it seems that at a fundamental level, there is no way that Treyarch are going to remove the armor system from Curse. Now, to me, this is a very nuanced conversation and a very double-edged sword here, because on the one hand, I completely agree with where the community is coming from, where it is an L that the armor system is remaining the same as it is, because it then isn't really giving us that classic gameplay that we all sort of expected to get from the Curse mode. But I think the other way to look at it is that as a community, we do need to temper our expectations. And I think the wording and the use of this mode being deemed a classic mode needs to be put to rest, because clearly what this mode is not a classic mode. What it actually is a hardcore version of modern Zombies with some classic systems and modifiers in place. It is very close to being a classic mode, but it isn't actually a classic mode in the same terms that we expect it to be. And like I said, this is a very nuanced conversation, because I can see both ends of the spectrum. Regardless if you like the armor system or you absolutely despise it, the unfortunate reality is that at the core foundations of modern Zombies, it is built around this armor system. I'm sure some of you in the comments will make the argument on why they couldn't just make static damage a thing for the cursed mode. Surely it is that easy to implement a different damage system to what we currently have in modern Zombies, but the problem is that absolutely everything has been designed around the armor system in terms of how you experience damage from every single part of the game, whether it's normal zombies, special zombies, boss fights. The unfortunate reality is that if there was a completely different damage system for curse mode, they would have to rebalance literally every single factor of the game. It would almost be like remaking the game's systems from the ground up purely for a separate mode, which is not out of the realm of possibility, but is so much work that it is almost like a complete rebuild of the framework of the damage system to be completely different. And it sounds like at that point they would be making a completely different game at that point, and trying to keep both of those balanced within a game would just be way too much work, unfortunately. Now, I know there is a group of people in the community that just despise armor no matter what way you look at it, and that's completely understandable, and I completely respect if that's your opinion. My opinion is that I don't necessarily have a problem with armor, but I have a problem with the way the armor is presented in the game and how it just looks so Warzone-ified and so unzombies-like that they definitely could do more here to at least make it more of an engaging system that visually looks different to what we experience within multiplayer and Warzone. This is absolutely feedback that Treyarch have heard over the years, and I hope that with this video and with the recent feedback from the beta, it's things that they can reconsider. I don't know if it's even possible to change it now, but to me, it's just the visual presentation of the armor that I think needs a more zombified presentation, whether it's a redesign, so I don't know, you're putting dark ether orb energy into your chest or something, just something that isn't the exact same Warzone replating animation, I think would do wonders for the overall sort of attitude towards armor, because arguably it is a better system than the classic shields. And I know that sounds really controversial, and I know some people are not going to like the sound of that, and I love the old zombie shield system as well, but in terms of a convenience point of view, having that always on you so that you can add that armor back onto your armor plated vest is a more convenient way than running to the other side of the map to grab and buy a new shield. And unfortunately, if they did just strip the armor system away from this game entirely, the game would just be way too difficult. And if you want to try this for yourself, play Black Ops 6 Zombies and don't ever interact with the armor system. Don't buy armor vests, don't pick them up, don't apply them, and you'll see that you have way less damage, you'll take way less hits, and the game is a lot more difficult because of it. So as much as I am disappointed that they aren't removing the armor system, I think if at least from a developer point of view, they came out and explained why it's not possible to remove it, I think that would definitely sort of calm the sort of conversation right now about armor a little bit, and at least get it from the developer's point of view. I think that's always something that is so insightful and so useful for us to be able to see it from a developer's point of view. But I did say that there was two things we're going to talk about with Cursed in this video, and the second is actually a really positive one, but there is some slight caveats to it, and that's that they finally confirmed that the Cursed mode is no longer going to be locked away behind a weird secret requirement that they're going to be vague about. They've announced now that once the first team in the world completes the Ashes of the Damned main quest, Cursed will be unlocked for all players, which is really cool, and sort of is a homage back to the ideas of, you know, beating the campaign in World at War and getting the zombies mode unlocked. And imagine if they had that system where everyone got the zombies mode from the first person beating the campaign. It'd be kind of cool. But I guess the conversation around this is more Easter eggs get solved so quickly these days. We're talking like 8 hours maximum for a BO6 map. It's likely to be a similar time for BO7 that it almost seems a bit pointless to have it locked at launch for it to be unlocked like 8 hours later. Like at that point, maybe they should just have it unlocked from the very get-go. I understand that they want to have some secrecy. They want to keep it slightly restricted enough limits so that people can experience it all together at the same time. And their approach is that somewhat of the Destiny raid sort of idea, which I think is really cool, where once one team beats the raid, it unlocks something in the world for all players to activate. It's a really cool idea. It's a really unique one, and it is cool to see Treyarch do things like that for this. So the positives are that, yeah, there is no vague random requirement to unlock it. They've just fully explained exactly how it's done, which is what I've been saying in my videos, where my sort of understanding was that it was by completing the main quest. And the argument was that, you know, some people buying BO7 want to play the Cursed mode straight away. They don't want to play the normal mode. They want to jump straight into it, and then having to play the map in the normal mode to then be able to play it in the way they want seemed a little bit sort of backwards thinking. So I'm really glad that they've changed their approach on that, and it's overall a big W. And as far as the armor plating thing, I'm not too disappointed by it being in Cursed, but I did want to talk about it and sort of present all the sides to this conversation so that we can have a very sort of like nuanced and very sort of well-rounded discussion on this topic, so that I can get your feedback and then Treyarch can see your feedback in the comments below. And who knows, maybe there could be some changes down the line. Maybe they could add a relic in the post-launch seasons that does disable armor. Maybe they do actually get round to, you know, changing the damage scaling in Curse to be entirely different, and they do actually manage to find a solution that makes people happy. We will just have to wait and see, but I'd love to know all your thoughts about this down below in the comment section. If you guys missed last night's video going over all of the crazy changes that Treyarch announced for BO7 Zombies, which includes a super Easter egg potentially happening, a brand new Zombies HUD, high round rebalancing, and a ton of other things, then be sure to check this video that's on your screen right now.